Hello, hello, hello. We're back.
We're back. We're trying. We're trying.
Y'all.
So, the last email was crazy.
That one was.
Super, super crazy. All right. I think this has to have like a warning.
Yeah. Okay. So, trigger warning. This involves a trial, murder, in the sense of like children.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very sensitive topic. It is about school shootings. So if you don't want to hear it or you find this triggering in any way, then just wait till the next episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It says, "Hey ladies, with the news covering the trial and going back and forth with myself sending this in, I quit my job at the Appalachian High School after the incident that occurred in 2024. I remember one of my female students asking to go to the bathroom that morning. I let her go. Not even 45 seconds later, I hear a pop, pop, pop. I stood frozen for about 1 or 2 seconds, and then I yelled at my kids to get into the corner. I started moving my cabinet in front of my door. I can hear some of my students crying and calling for their parents. I texted my daughter to see if she was okay. She was in science class. She said she was scared and just wanted her dad."
She's laughing because she's trying not to cry. Like, we were crying when we read this. It was just...
"As I'm trying to make sure all my kids are okay and trying to tell them to whisper, I can hear screaming and the popping noise. I remember looking around my classroom and my blood draining out my face. Recalling my female student was in the bathroom, I whispered to another student to text female student to make sure she was okay. The whole time I'm praying and asking God to forgive me for this child out of my sight. My student advises me she was able to be dragged into a classroom when the first 2 pops occurred. This happened in a span of like 3 to 4 minutes. The pops lasted about 45 to 50 seconds, but hearing kids tell their parents, 'Mom, I'm scared.' Oh my God, this is crazy. Oh, 'Daddy, I love you. Please come and get me,' or 'I can't breathe,' and their whimpers and holding hands, or trying to shield as many kids as I could. Oh my God, this is like the makeup for or trying to shield as many kids as I could if anyone or anything would break into my classroom. After 15 to 20 minutes later, police comes in, and I remember telling my kids to keep looking forward and not to look down. We walked past a deceased male student in the hallway. Police and EMTs were helping load a female student into a gurney she was shot at. When we got to the designated spot for students and parents, my first reactions was to find my female student. I had some classmates with me, yelling her name. A few minutes later, 5 minutes later, I see her coming my way with another student. The pressure got goosebumps.
Yeah.
The pressure I felt on my chest as I hugged her and profusely apologized to her. She looked at...
It's okay.
She looked at me and said, "Miss T," Rosie, I hate you. Hold on. I'm going to power through. "Miss T, I promise I'm okay." Was I sure? When I was sure she was okay and my students were all waiting together for their parents, I started looking for my daughter. Found her 10 minutes later. I never experienced such a deep pit feeling and never wanted to feel it again. Once it was time to return back to school, I was scared to let my daughter out of my sight. I finished the school year but resigned as a teacher. Understandable. Being a teacher isn't for the weak, and I know it's selfish resigning after what happened, but never in a million years did I think it could happen in a place where I should be working. That's crazy. I think the thing that's more sad is hearing the kids call their parents. That's sad. Yeah, see. Oh.
So before we like deep dive into the trial and everything,
I think that's just as a parent myself.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear my kids call me or tell me anything like that. But like Elijah's in preschool, right?
Yeah.
And he's a kid that wants light up shoes.
Yes, I know. Ava's the same. That's how come she doesn't have them. She gets to wear them at home, but she doesn't wear them to school.
And whenever we were going school shopping, when he first started school last year, right? I remember the teacher sending us an email about that. And I remember, and we had went to the store or something, and Carla was like, oh, well, let's get him light up shoes. And there was a teacher there. I'm not sure what type, like, I know she was a teacher because she came up to us and told us. And I was like, no. I was like, I don't think he can wear light up shoes at school. And the teacher, like, turned and she came up to us and she was like, in this day and age, in this society, I recommend you not get your kid light up shoes. And Carla was like, well, you know why? He's a kid. And she was like, because if there's a school shooting, his shoes can light up and they can give away his safe place. Never in a million years that I thought about it, but never in a million years that have I seen Carlos like, what the fuck? But he was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
We still bought them. He wears them at home. Yeah. He wears them when we go to the store. But when it came to him wearing them at school, we had to like sit down and like be like, you can't wear these. You can only wear these when you come home or whatever. But in his preschool, they do school shooting drills. Yeah. Right? When they sent us a message saying that, they were going to have the drill and they were going to let us know how the kids did and stuff, I was like, what the fuck? Right? He did great. This year, he's talking more. He's letting me know how school is. And they recently had one before spring break started. And he was like, Mom, I'm like, what? He goes, we played a game at school. I'm like, what do you mean? And I knew it because she emailed like, hey, tomorrow we're going to have a drill. So in case your kids want to talk about it, you won't be surprised. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah. He was like, the noise was loud, which is like the alarm. There was a loud noise. The teacher was like, we had to hide in the corner. We had to be very, very quiet. And she gave us candy. Yeah. Right? I was like, candy? Yeah, she gave us candy and she said we have to be very, very quiet until until my other teacher tells me it's okay to talk. Right? I'm like, oh, okay. And then when I went the next day, I went to school or whatever, and I was telling her, she goes, yeah, I just, she said, as a teacher who has small kids, she gives them candy, like suckers, or what is that paleta called?
The dum-dum suckers.
She said, it's better for me to give small kids dum-dums because they can't cry while they're sucking on a candy. Yeah. And if they're not crying, they're not making noise. Yeah. Look. No. Yeah. And I think it sucks. But it's a reality in today's society that anything, anybody, it can happen anywhere. It can happen at a mall, it can happen at a movie theater, at a store, at a fucking school, which is crazy.
So, like I've
you're a teacher.
I'm in the school.
Have you had?
We have had drills. I've had my first set of drills. Okay. And for me, it was really hard when we first had them because I was like, damn, like this is like literally what my kids are doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Ava started school this year. Like she loves her teachers. They're fantastic.
I'm getting like teary-eyed and
things like that, right? But it's also like one of those things where it's like, as a parent, you have the urge to go and grab your kids. Yeah. Especially because like you're working there. Obviously we can't do that. But it's really, the school does the best that they can with the resources that we have and like things like that. Right? So our doors from the outside stay locked at all times. Right? You can't open them from the outside. Yeah. Unless you have a key. So that's one of the things.
Same with Bella's school.
we have like the little windows in the door, so we just cover those. Like we have a little Velcro thing that we put. But it's one of those things where I found it kind of difficult because I am in the SPED unit. All of my kids are wheelchair kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, my classroom's not very big. You know, it's a decent size, but it's not very big. And obviously, you know, the type of kids that we have, they lack the self-awareness of like what the situation is. Like they're not really, like they're mentally delayed, like things like that, you know? So as far as being like, hey, like I need you to be quiet, like that's not really an option.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of them can't like physically like eat and stuff like that. And so we had a drill, and like the whole time I was like, oh my God. Like we're supposed to kind of like huddle off to a side where our bathroom is, right? So like in my class, you walk in, like this is my class. Like you walk in and you turn this way, and there's like a little gap, and then the bathroom, right? I can fit maybe one kid there. I can fit like one teacher, one wheelchair there.
And how many kids do you have in total?
I have 5. And so we kind of have to like huddle everybody into that side, right? Because here's the wall, the door's here, and the bathroom and stuff is on the same wall, right? So we're off, like they can't see us. But my kids don't know what be quiet is. Like my kids don't have the ability to, you know, stay quiet. Like little things trigger them. They scream, they yell, they laugh. Like it's not voluntary. It's involuntary. They can't control it. You know? And if it came down to it, like there's literally like we have windows and stuff, but only like we have like tall windows, right? And we're in the back. So it's like our windows, and then there's like a little window about this big that slides that we can open. So even if like we physically wanted to, like it's not code or anything, but if it ever came down to a situation, like there's literally no escaping.
Yeah, because they're all
there's like, even if we wanted to like unstrap them and like throw a teacher outside and grab the kid or something, like there's nothing. We can't. So we're just kind of stuck.
Jesus.
And like that for me was like one of the scariest, like kind of realization. And it was just kind of like, damn. Like if it really came down to it, like,
God forbid.
Like, God forbid, like, we're really stuck there.
Yeah.
And there's not really...
And you can't even go and get your kids.
Yeah. And, like, there's not really any way for us to be able to protect our kids.
Yeah.
Like, we can shield them, like, with our bodies and stuff. But it's not like we can stick all of them on the floor and cover them with, like, a blanket or something and, like, you know, be in front of them or like anything like that. Like we literally can't, because all of my kids are older. Yeah. They're not little ones in like in a wheelchair or anything. Like I have 5th graders. I have 4th graders. I have 3rd graders. So like, it was just like, it wasn't like mentally, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's not really any way for us to hide them. There's not really any way for us to like really protect them if it came down to it. Thankfully, you know, my schools, all the doors in and out of the school are locked. Like they're locked. So like, you know, like you can't get in unless you have a badge. You can't get in unless you go through the office and you know, Ava's at the door, y'all. You know, you sit there and like you have to go through the office first. So as soon as you go in, the doors are locked. They have to buzz you in. And then from there, you know, you go through the office, but you have to be able to get buzzed out. If you don't get buzzed out, you can't go anywhere. Like, doors are always locked. So it's not like somebody could just like
come in.
So that's like the good thing, you know. And then like our resource officer is really great. Like he's constantly patrolling. Our gym teachers too. But they're always walking around and like keeping things, like an eye on things. But like, yeah, there's been a couple drills and it's just like that's damn, crazy. Like we can like we can prep, we can try, you know, because
it's a drill.
It's a drill. Like we get the notifications, like things like that. Like that's fine.
But God forbid.
But like what happens when it's a legit thing?
And you're like, you have no control over anything.
Yeah. Like that's the biggest thing. It's like what happens then.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of like it sucks because it's like you know, you can't be by the door.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can peek in the hallway and make sure that, you know, the kids are passing by. And like we have the thing covered. So what then when, you know, like if something does happen, like we hear kids in the hallway, we're not allowed to open the door to bring them in. You know what I mean? Because we don't know who it is.
God.
Because it could be anybody. Babies. You know what I mean? So it's like things like that because we have to be away from the door.
But I feel like imagine God forbid,
that like it's so hard.
But I'm saying like, but imagine like like the kids who were in the hallway.
Yeah.
And the teachers weren't able to bring in those kids, and then they have it in their conscience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's like really, really hard. And it's like, you know, like I'm going to be like worrying about my kids. Like it's just a whole thing. And then that's also like why I'm kind of pissed off that the kids aren't allowed to have their phones on them anymore because of that. And I get it, like anti-bullying, whatever the fuck. Like kids are going to bully each other outside of school on the internet. It doesn't fucking matter. But it's like my kids got phones at a really young age because of that.
Same with the girls.
You know what I mean? After the whole Sandy Hook shooting, like Matthew got a phone.
No, I think the girls got a phone from the Uvalde.
Yeah.
Once the Uvalde thing happened.
Was it Sandy? No.
Sandy
no,
Hook it
was the boy. It was the boys did get the one after the Uvalde, yeah.
Because that one was...
that was close to home, too.
But that one was like...
It was so bad.
Like this one, the cops came within literally within like couple of minutes. You know what I mean? And then with the Uvalde, it took them how long?
Let me
like 75 minutes for them to even enter.
The parents were the ones that were going. Like that one mom.
That one mom, she
said, "Fuck that shit."
She went to go grab her kid, and then she grabbed her kid's friend who was like really, really terrified. And she's like, "Fuck it, let's go." She went in while the shooter was still shooting.
Yeah,
and she got in trouble for it.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, but the ones in Uvalde, they took forever. And then they were in the hallway. You know what I mean? And then when the police was like, if you need help, like scream out. And when that one girl did, she got killed.
He remained in the classrooms, the shooter, for 1 hour and 14 minutes before members of the United States Border Patrol unit breached the classroom and fatally shot him.
To the Border Patrol, not the police officers.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it was,
this one is about the Uvalde.
Yeah,
one.
That was...
But this is the reason why the girls got phones, because of this.
Well, yeah, because it's... Schools don't notify parents of anything until after it's happened.
Like, you notify me when my kid is complaining of an earache.
And not even that.
No,
like,
they do. They made her call.
Oh.
They make him call me. Or you call me because her pants are too fucking tight, or her pants don't got buttons or a pocket.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to notify parents when something like this happens.
And I understand it that, you know, they don't want to cause like a panic within the parents trying to go to the schools and like do things like that. I get that because it kind of it interferes. I understand it. But as a parent,
I'm going in.
I need to know.
I'm not gonna lie.
Like it's one of those things.
Like if God forbid, if I know my kid is in danger, I will put myself in danger and take my kid out of that situation.
That's one of those things, and it's, you know, the school that I work for is like, I love that school. My kids have been at that school. Matthew's been there since pre-K 3. You know, Abel's been there since kindergarten. Ava's started pre-K 3 there. Like I've had nothing but good experiences at the school, except for, you know, last year when we had issues with those teachers. But other than that, like the staff is great. Like communication's always really good between, you know, me and the teachers as far as like things that like my kids need, things that they need to take, things they need to do, stuff like that. It's always been, I've never had issues. But like working there now and realizing like, damn, like the kids really fucking like do this. They can't have their phones. Like, God forbid anything happen. Like, I'll be able to communicate with my husband. I can tell Abel, like, hey, this is happening at the school. But, like, none of the other kids can communicate with the parents or, like, anything like that. It's like the kids won't be able to communicate with parents. They won't. Nobody's going to know anything until after it happens or one of the neighbors across the street, because we're like in a small little, like we have neighbors, right? Obviously, if someone's home and they peep it, they're going to post it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the only other ways the parents are going to be notified.
That's crazy.
You know, and I get it. They don't want phones disrupting class time, stuff like that. But like, I feel like the kids need to have their phones on them.
I do too.
You know, like just make sure the phone is on silent or on vibrate. Have them turn it off. Keep it on them or in their bags in the class. And if an incident happens, they're able to grab it. It's already silent. It's already on vibrate, whatever. You know, I don't know. That's just me. Like, I would want my kids to be able to, like, as fucked up as it sounds, I would want them to be able to talk to me before they died.
Oh, my
or something
God.
happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. And the crazy thing is like, as far as like staff members and teachers and like things like that, like if an incident happened, just from the ones that I know and that I speak to and things like that, a lot of us have kids at the school. Like, we have our own kids there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, fuck, like, I need to protect somebody else's kids and pray that whoever has my kid is
protecting them too.
Gonna protect them too. But, and the reality is like, at least for me, like, as an adult working there or anything like that, like, I would die saving somebody else's kid. Because that's just horrific. That is so sad. Are you recording on the
No,
oh, okay.
No more.
It's just like, it's crazy. And it's just the reality of it. It was really, really hard doing that drill. And it was just like, fuck.
Did you come home and tell Abel about it?
No, I didn't. I got mad about something else. But it's just like, it's there. And it's, you know, the fact that we do have to do things like that. And, you know, I don't want to say it's easier because nothing about the situation is easier. But being able to, like, you know, shield yourself in front of kids and like things like shield the kids and stuff like that. You know, like you can get them all huddled up and like things like that. It's a lot harder for us to do that with our kids.
Shit.
And it was one of those things because like we were trying to keep them calm during the drill. We were like, so when we did the drill, like obviously like they come around and they shake the door and they knock and like things like that, right? One, to make sure the door is locked. Two, to make sure nobody's answering, like things like that. But it was like as it was happening, Gordis was there laughing.
Oh.
Gordis was like, oh my God, like he was excited. And I'm like, no, don't be excited.
Like Caterpillar, stop it.
Yeah, I'm like, Gordis was over there. He was giggling the whole time. And then, you know, like, we'll call him Bun because he has a bun now. So Bun, he was over there and he was like clapping and he was like screaming.
Oh my God.
And
that's the reality of it.
Yeah. And then, you know, like, one of my other kids, one of my new ones, you know, he was laughing at Gordis. He was laughing at him because he was laughing. So they were laughing. And then we were just like, guys, like, shh. We're like trying to get them to calm down. We're like, hey, my God, like, you know, like things like that. And then, you know, they just thought we were the funniest people. And they were just like so excited because they thought I guess, like in their head, like we were like playing a game or like we were doing something. And, you know, like we can't give them candy. We can't like do that because like they can't eat. You know, like they have their cups and stuff, and we're like trying to give them the cups, and we're doing this, and they were just so excited, and it was just like this and
so
screaming,
loud,
and I'm like, guys, like it's okay. We're like, look at us, like trying to get them to like calm down, and it was just like a whole thing.
Thankfully, it was a drill.
It was a drill, but like in the reality of it, like what happens then?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because how easy is it to shoot out a window and put your arm in there and open it?
Yeah. Give you props. Props because, I mean, and you know what? For the person who sent us an email, it is not selfish.
No, it's not.
You went through something traumatic. You
wouldn't be able to be you wouldn't be able to be the best teacher you could be if you were always on guard and scared and
always is going to always linger in the back of your mind.
Yeah. So honestly,
it's not selfish.
I don't find it selfish because on the cool, if I were to ever experience anything like that, yeah, I would not. No, I would not. But imagine, and on top of that, my kids would probably be homeschooled after that if they made it.
But imagine like the amount of teachers after high school, middle school, whatever, college, after all those school shootings, imagine the amount of professors or teachers who actually quit and no one talks about.
Oh, yeah. Not only that, the suicide rate. Think about that. The suicide rate of staff members and like things like that after something traumatic like that happens. Because us as adults, we're there to protect the kids, to make sure that they're safe, that they're well taken care of, and like things like that. And especially because a lot of the kids that walk through that door, they don't get the love that they get at school at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we're there to make sure that they're getting fed, that they're, you know, being treated well, that their
feelings are valid.
Their feelings are validated, like they feel loved, like things like that. And like I'm really big on that because I've had cases, you know, when I was working like in the hospital and in the clinics, like I've had cases where, you know, these kids were getting abused at home. Like, you know, the little girl that died when I was working in peds, that's why I quit peds. Because after that I was crying and I was like, I can't do that. Like that shit broke me. And I never went back to peds after that. I was like, fuck no. Can't do it because, like, what do you mean? I'm only here for a couple, like, I'm like a couple months in and I already have a kid that I literally just saw die.
Yeah.
And she was murdered by her dad.
Oh, yeah. You told me about it.
Remember? Yeah. And it was just like, that was really hard for me. Like, I couldn't do that. And so I quit. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, fuck.
I don't know. But you know what? Okay. So, at the Appalachian High School shooting, right? There's videos. Have you seen the video?
No, because I can't bring myself to watch them. I've never been able to watch any of the school shooting videos.
I'm going to read the one that I've seen, okay? The one that I saw was, where is it at? Okay, I seen this one. So I'm not gonna say his name because he doesn't deserve it. So the shooter knocked on the door to re-enter his algebra class, right? A student went to go open it, but she was able to see through the glass panel in the doorway and saw that he had a gun. When the teacher asked the student to open it, she said, no, he has a gun. But she said, the student said that her mom has always taught her to look before she opens the door. So imagine if she wouldn't look and she would have just opened up the classroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. After being denied re-entry into the classroom, the shooter entered and fired 10 to 15 rounds inside a nearby classroom, striking multiple people and killing Christian Angulo before running down a hall, still shooting towards a set of toilets. Shortly after the shots were fired, multiple staff members pushed the panic buttons on their IDs, which triggered a lockdown and alerted authorities, including 3 school resource officers, about the shooting, right?
And not a lot of schools have that. We don't have that. Like, my badge is just my badge. It lets me in and out of the building.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it. There's no button. There's no nothing.
Mm-hmm. And this one says, one student told reporters that he had heard about 10 shots, not believing the shooting to be real until he heard an officer yelling at someone to put their gun down. Another recounted that after hearing the gunshots, the class barricaded the door with objects before hiding. One student stated that their teacher attempted to investigate the noise before being directed to lock the door, following reports of an active shooter. They heard someone pounding on the door, shouting, "Open up," multiple times before gunshots and screams. And then this one, okay, this is the video that I saw.
Yeah.
It says because in each classroom for this particular high school, each classroom has cameras.
Yeah.
And the way the cameras were, the way the video is like, you can tell.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell this person was like dying. It says one of the teachers killed reportedly left his classroom after hearing a commotion and was shot in the chest. The students in his classroom pulled him back into the classroom, attempted to save his life by using their own shirts to stop the bleeding, while others barricaded the door with desks and chairs. One of the students, before he realized he was wounded, got up and quickly shut his classroom door, preventing the shooter from entering. And I seen that one because it's like, I think he was like the football coach, right? Or something like that. He goes, you can see him in the video step out, and then he comes in like crawling.
Yeah.
And then he lays down, and the students are like, what the door is still open.
Yeah.
And then a couple of African American girls come, and then they lay him down, and one of them takes off her sweater and is pressing on his like stomach or chest area. And you see 2 other people like run across like the desk and slam the door. And then you see all the kids around the teacher trying to like help him.
Oh.
Yeah. But he died. And then on an interview, the girl that was helping him was saying that she knows like CPR, she knows like, you know, first aid stuff. She knows if something happens, you got to tourniquets, you know, types of thing. She was like, but she never realized that her mom being a nurse and her helping her know these things, she had to actually use them for her not to be able to save her teacher is going to be engraved in her mind because she could have done something sooner.
Yeah.
This is a 14-year-old girl saying this. Oh, my God. It's just a lot. And then, so the school was placed on a lockdown around 10:20, right? Law enforcement responded at around 10:23.
So it took them 3 minutes.
The lockdown software caused all whiteboards in the school to flash the words "hard lockdown" in large red letters.
We don't have that either.
Exactly.
And a lot of schools don't.
Okay. So this wording of this message made students think it was part of a drill. The director of the sheriff's office received calls of an active shooter at the school around 10:20 when it first started, right? With responders arriving within minutes. The school resource officers engaged the suspect within minutes and he surrendered to them. The shooter had brought 103 bullets with him into the school, 36 of which were discharged during the shooting. Okay, so let's see how many. I think he killed 4. Yeah. So he was 14 years old. He shot 11 people. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed, and 7 were injured by gunfire. And just recently, in March of this year, the dad was convicted of second-degree manslaughter because he bought the gun for his son.
Why you're buying a gun for a 14-year-old, I don't know.
And not even that. I think it was like before the incident happened. I think it was like in 2021. The police went to go talk to the father about something with the, like, they already had police in, like, what is it called? ¿Cómo se dice cuando you already been talking to the police about something similar? Like, the police already did an investigation with the parents about the kid.
Yeah.
And nothing was done.
Because there were red flags.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is like, we live in Dallas County, right? And most of y'all know this, but if you don't, we're in Dallas. So at the moment, the Dallas police response time can be anywhere between 10 minutes and over 100 minutes.
And I will hope.
And you never know.
And I will hope when it comes to our children, and God forbid a school shooting, I hope them cops get there as soon as possible.
There was a
and y'all better not wait for backup.
I saw it on TikTok somewhere. I forgot where it was, but I know it happened here. I don't know if it was like Dallas, or if it was like one of the surrounding cities, but I had seen on TikTok that there was a domestic violence dispute that was happening. Like, the dad was beating the shit out of the mom and the kids.
Oh,
right?
damn.
Like, he was trying to kill them. And one of the kids and the mom ended up dying, even though it was called in, and the response time was about like 6 hours later.
Shut the fuck up.
Like, it's just,
DPD, y'all ain't shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, the response time is crazy. Yeah.
Well, God forbid, but I hope y'all better not be like Uvalde, who are just outside.
I don't know, because when I tell you that I'm going to call Abel and I'm going to text you,
like, Carlos will go in a heartbeat.
Something finna happen. I don't know, because, like, again, we never think it's gonna happen to us. No. Obviously, nobody ever's like, oh, you know what, we might die today. Like, no, like, nobody ever thinks that. But, and everybody always says it's just never gonna happen to us, and we can say that as much as we want, and it's never.
And you know what's crazy?
You never know. But
after the Uvalde happened, it happened during the day of their award ceremony, right?
Yeah.
With the next week, the girls had their award ceremony.
Yeah.
Officers were in the grounds, right? Carlos went. A lot of people went to their kids' award ceremonies. A lot of people had their guns.
Yeah.
You can't bring guns into a school.
Yeah.
Right? Now, one parent gave a fuck.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, Carlos was fighting with the cops. The cops were like, you can't bring it. Carlos like, you think I'm going to let my daughter's hands in your hands? He was like, those cops took almost 2 hours to enter. He was like, I'm going to go inside the school. I'll take the chamber off. But I'm not going to come up in here without a gun, because God forbid anything happens to my kids. Right? So what they did, they had every parent remove their magazine, remove the bullet from the chamber, and then let them inside.
Yeah.
Cool. We went to their award ceremony or whatever. We had a moment of silence for the kids and stuff. And the teachers were like, all right, if y'all want to take y'all's kids, y'all go ahead and stand up. Everybody stood up. Because a lot of people, mostly, they just leave their kids there.
Well, typically, yeah.
They leave their kids, but that's what happened at Uvalde. A lot of parents left their kids there. And look what happened after their award ceremony.
I remember after that happened, one of the moms was talking about her daughter passed.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the moms was like, she had been begging and begging and begging to come home, to take her home, And I said,
but
no.
I think she had to go to work. The mom had to go back to work.
It was something.
Or she had to do something, right?
And she was like, no, like, you're going to be fine. You only have like 2 more hours. It's going to be okay.
I'll pick you up.
I'll pick you up. And it just kept going and going. She was like, no, Mom, like, take me home. I want to go home. Like, she was crying. And then she passed away.
Yeah.
And the mom was like, fuck.
Yeah. And then I remember,
I've always taken my kids home after the award ceremonies. I've always taken them home
too. And
I will still continue to.
I would always like that. And then, so that happened, right? And then pasó the week after, or that same week or whatever, pasó que they went to the week after the Uvalde, before the ceremony. There was a cop presence all over the school. I guess because after it happened, when I saw it on the news, once I saw it happen on the news, I guess it hit me just because I'm a mom, I have kids. As soon as I got home, I remember hugging the girls, and the girls were like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, nothing. And I even told Carlos, I'm like, this shit hurts. I'm like, because who would think that your kids are going to school and something's going to happen to them? So after the whole Uvalde thing, I did, like, once I got home from work, I hugged them.
Oh, yeah.
Because that shit was crazy. And then the following week, during the award ceremony, there was just cops constantly. Yeah. Until school was let out for the summer.
Yeah. And it was like that over here, too, because... but
I've never seen so many guns at a school other than that award ceremony. Everybody's like, fuck no. And then I picked up the girls the last day of school, and there was parents still with their guns. We're able to carry our guns here in Texas and blah blah blah. But it was just like crazy.
Yeah, no, after the Uvalde shooting, like, a lot of schools had police officers and stuff like that, and a lot of the retired police officers, like, even though they weren't hired by the district and stuff like that, they were still parked in their cars.
Yeah,
they were still driving around circles in front of the schools.
Yeah,
they were still standing in front of the schools. They were like, no.
I think Sandy Hook was the most traumatic one, because I remember when it happened, my sister Brenda came home because she was working. She came home and she hugged Angel, because she just had Angel and Ozzy, I believe. She came home and she hugged Angel and she was crying. I didn't know nothing about it, because I was just like, I think we were in high school when it happened. I think that was the most traumatic one, Sandy Hook. That one was like crazy. But now, with us as parents, I think the most traumatic one was Uvalde for us.
Yeah. Well, because that one was a lot closer to us than any of the other ones. And then not only that, it was like, Funchies was just like, I want to say he was like maybe first grade, second grade, something like that. I want to say he was in first grade when it happened. And it was just like, fuck, like I had to have a whole conversation with my kids about the phones. I had to have a whole conversation about what happened, because Abel was, he was in school, and him and his classmates were all talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he came home and he was like, Mom, like, I heard this happen. And I'm like, fuck. Like, now I have to have a conversation with him about like what happened and like things like that. And it was just, it's hard for kids to have to comprehend, like, hey, you're children, but somebody might want to come into the school and kill you. Like, what the fuck do you say to that?
Oh my
like, that's
God.
so hard. And for me, like, I was sitting right there. My bedroom was exactly the same, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting right there, and I had both the boys sitting on the bed. Cause I had just had Ava, or I was pregnant with her. I don't know, something. But no, I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember sitting on the bed, having a conversation with them about it. And, you know, I was telling Abel, okay, like we need to get them smartwatches. They need phones. That way, if they don't have their phones, their smartwatches can, you know, they can text us from their smartwatches, like whatever the fuck it is. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, what do you, like, what? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like he understood the severity of it, but it was like one of those things, again, it's like, it's not going to happen to our kids. You know what I mean? But I was like, yeah, like, no, like Matthew needs a phone.
Yeah, because I think the Sandy Hook happened in 2012, so we're seniors, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so basically on December 14, 2012, a mass shooting occurred at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, United States.
We were juniors.
No, we were seniors.
Oh, yeah, because we graduated 2013.
It says, the shooter shot and killed 26 people. The victims were 20 children between ages 6 and 7 years old and 6 adult staff members. So I remember that one because I remember Brenda came and hugged Angel and was crying or whatever, but I didn't think nothing of it, right?
Yeah.
And then for the Uvalde one, it was a mass shooting on May 24th, 2022. So you had just had Ava.
I just had her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where 18-year-old, I'm not going to say his name because you don't deserve it. So he was 18 years old, right? A former student at the school fatally shot 19 students and 2 teachers while injuring 18 others. He was killed 77 minutes after entering the classroom by law enforcement officers. The Uvalde school shooting also has videos, and you can see the officers in the hallway, right?
And they were just standing there.
They were
for
just
the
standing,
longest.
and then there was one, I believe his daughter was in the classroom. He was trying to go, but they were holding him back.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so him, right? So he was trying to go, but they held him back. Where is it at? Okay, so the shooter drove to Robb Elementary School, where he entered a classroom. He shot his victims, having passed local and state officers who had been in the hallways. He remained in the classrooms for an hour and 14 minutes before the members of the U.S. States Border Patrol breached the classroom and fatally shot him. But there was also one where it was quiet for a hot minute, and one of the officers was like, if you need help, call out. Like they were saying, call out if you need help and we'll come get you. This one girl was injured. She called out for help, and that made the shooter go back to the classroom and shoot her dead.
And I remember it was crazy because I read that one of the kids, she was laying there and her friend had died. Her friend had died, and the girl crawled to her friend,
smeared herself
in her friend's blood, and pretended to be dead.
And that's how she survived.
And that's how she survived.
Which is crazy. Or like,
because no baby should have to do that.
Fuck no.
Never. And it's just so hard to like picture it, to hear about it, to like watch the videos. Like I could never bring myself to watch them. And it's just
honestly
like
I watch them just because it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then, okay, so I'm going to read the names of the students who got killed in the Uvalde, okay? It says Nevaeh Alyssa Bravo was 10. Jacqueline Jaylene Casares was 9. McKenna Lee Elrod was 10. Jose Manuel Flores Jr. was 10. Eliana Amaya Garcia was 9. Yusia Sergio was 10. Amari Joe Garza was 10. Xavier James Lopez was 10. JC Carmelo was 10. Tess Marie Mata was 10. Miranda Gail Mathis was 11. Alita Haven Ramirez was 10. Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez was 10. Maite Yulena Rodriguez was 10. Alexandria Ania Rubio was 10. Layla Marie Salazar, 11. Jayla Nicole Silguero, 10. Eliana Cruz Torres, 10. And Rogelio Fernandez Torres was 10, and the 2 teachers who died protecting their classrooms, because there was a classroom, it was a joint classroom, right? Was Irma Linda Garcia, 48, and Eva Mirales, 44. And then I think it wasn't it like one of their husbands that went in to try to save their wife or something like that?
I don't remember, but I do know one of the dads got handcuffed. The mom got handcuffed, and she's like, "Okay, I'm fine. And then as soon as they handcuffed her, she's the one that took off.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy. I don't know, but
I don't know.
That was a dark episode.
Ugh. I don't know. My heart goes out to all the parents who lost their babies.
Mm-hmm.
I can't picture it. I don't know how they keep going because I don't think I could.
That's
that's hard.
To.
Yeah. To the teacher who emailed us, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Don't feel bad
Don't feel selfish
for being selfish. It's okay to be selfish, and in this instant, that's a valid reason. Like I wouldn't be able to do it. Like I wouldn't be able to go back. It'd be too traumatic. And then that's just the reality of it.
Because they opened up the school again. But like, I guess the hallway where he killed those kids and those 2 teachers, it's still closed off.
Yeah.
So the classrooms apparently are like portables outside now.
Yeah.
And they still haven't opened the hallway. Unlike Uvalde, they tore the school down. You know what I mean? But imagine the kids who were at the school and hearing the popping noises, and I wouldn't be able to step foot back in there. I wouldn't even let my kid back there.
Yeah. And that's the sad part.
Oh, that's so sad.
Okay, well, this was like a really sad episode and severely like traumatizing. But
send us your opinions, your stories at sisterhood.confessions1@gmail.com. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And you can listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And until next time, bye.